Hi, welcome to this six-part series of how to speedrun big rigs. The only reason why I'm making this is because someone asked me to do it, and I was like, sure, seems like a pretty good idea. Even though I'm very much well aware that no one's probably going to play this game, that no one's really going to take this game serious and try to speedrun it, but hey, why not make it just in case? Maybe someone 5 years from now is going to play this game and continue the legacy that I've made. Alright, so this is going to be a six-part series of how to speedrun the game, and it's going to be broken down again to these parts. Part number one, which we're doing right now, is the controls. We'll be looking at, driving forwards, backwards, in both regular reverse and also double reverse. We'll talk about those specifics in a bit. And we're also looking at speed control, which is very important, especially when you're learning to do your ILs. And as a beginner, when you're doing your runs, having good speed control is important as it will improve your IGT performances and your overall RTA. And we'll also talk a little bit about the sensitivity and how it relates to your speed, as that also is very important in determining how much you're going to press left or right for your adjustments. So, a little bit about the game. I guess most of us are pretty much well aware about Big Rigs. It's notorious for being one of the worst games ever made. I've been playing this game for almost 4 years now, and I have unfortunately got my way into being the world record holder by a long shot in every category, and I decided to make a tutorial to kind of explain how people can kind of like play the game a little bit more with skill, per se. So, when you're doing speedruns, it doesn't matter, these really don't matter, Random race is self-explanatory, does a random race. Options, these don't change anything. The high scores, for me it doesn't work because I'm not using the Steam version. I have the actual copy version of the game. I'm using version 1, it's the infamous one, it's the one that crashes on Night Ride. I have version 1 and version 3. Version 2 is lost media, I can't find it anywhere, so I don't need to worry about that. And then the credits, obviously you don't need to worry about that. So, when you play the game, you have, these 4 trucks, and it's not like Mario Kart where there's different stats. These all act and behave the exact same way. The only difference is obviously how they look, and also a little bit of a subtle difference is the camera angle. And to best explain this, I'm going to just do my normal pick, which is Thunder, and then I'm going to just go to Forgotten Road 1. And I want you to notice the angle of the camera. So it's almost exactly level. You're not exactly, facing parallel to the truck. You're obviously looking down to see where the ground is. So keep this angle in mind. We're now going to do Mega 1, which has the biggest difference in terms of your camera angle. So we're going to load that up. And now the camera angle is slightly more steep. And again, ignore this texture glitch, I'm not sure why that happened. So the camera angle in Mega 1 is pretty steep in comparison. And hopefully it doesn't crash or doesn't break or glitch when I do it with Thunderbolt. So we'll just see that camera angle for this one. And it's very similar to what Thunder has. And that's fine with me. I like it that way. And then Sunrise W12 is a little bit similar, but instead of being pretty close to the vehicle, this one you're really sent back, where you can see almost a bigger field of view, kind of like in Minecraft. And again, that really comes to personal preference which one you use, but for speedrun's sake, I honestly use with Thunder because you don't have to waste time selecting this vehicle to go to the next one, so I just stick with Thunder. So, to understand the controls, let's just go to Forgotten Road 1. Let me make sure I restarted the game. Alright, Forgotten Road 1. And we're going to do all of this first couple minutes and stuff in regular direction. So, again, this is a PC game, so arrow keys that should be known by now, that should be obvious. And let's just start driving forwards. So, when you think about racing games, obviously think about turning and drifting. This game has no drifts at all, you just turn. And when you're driving forwards, your acceleration is really slow. You don't really go fast very quickly. And your turns are very stiff. To explain, I'm going to just press left for 1 whole second right now. So I'm press left. You don't really go that far. And then I'm going to do the same thing with right. again, your turns really aren't that significant. So you really have to press down and hold it to actually get a good turn. And to help visualize the comparison with going in reverse, I'm going to do that right now by pressing just the down arrow key. And keep in mind, I want you to look at my speed as I'm doing these turns, because I'm about to start my next point. So I'm pressing just the down arrow key, no spacebar, just holding it, and then I'm going to press left for 1 second when it says 108. So notice how I already just did a whole like 720 or even like 2.5 loops. That was just pressing left for 1 second. And I'm going to do the same thing again when it says like 123 right for 1 second. So again, you notice that I took pretty significant amounts of 360s, almost 3 whole loops. And that just kind of brings up my next point, which is your sensitivity of the vehicle always increases relative to your speed. So as long as you keep getting faster and faster, your sensitivity will keep getting higher and higher. And that also means that the length of each time you press left or right to adjust your movement gets shorter and shorter. Because if you want to turn left right now, you can press it for quite a bit. But if you're going, let's do it right now, want to turn left a little bit, you need to be very gentle, because if you press it for a relative short time, you're already going a direction you don't want to go. So it's important that you have a very good understanding of your sensitivity of the vehicle relative to your speed. And that's why doing these aisles the way that, these 20-second aisles that I do, that's why if I were to have my keyboard audio right next to my microphone, you would keep hearing me tap it over and over really loudly, because I'm making these adjustments with split-second, moments to think about it as I'm trying to position myself the way I want to be. So I'm just going to restart the game because version 1 is built different. Let's go back to Forgotten Road. And now we're going to talk about speed control. This is one of the most important things to understand if you're a beginner. So there are 2 ways to look about it. There is the very beginner friendly and then like the more intermediate approach. Technically there's 3 ways to do this, but for me I like to say there's 2. So the very beginner friendly version, you don't need the spacebar right now, don't worry about it. You just need your arrow keys. The way I do it, the way I used to do it rather, was I have my middle finger on the down arrow key, and then I have my ring finger ready to have the up arrow key pressed. So when you're going in reverse, as I'm doing right now, your sensitivity might be a little bit finicky. You might not be used to this. So if you let go, you stop. But if you want to slow down without stopping instantly, let's say right now this is a little bit too fast, you don't feel confident, you can press the up arrow key and you press the up arrow key while also not completely letting go of the down arrow key. So as you're pressing the down arrow key, you want to press that up arrow key, and then you can let go of down so that you can start slowing down without coming to a stop. And then once you feel that you're at a good enough speed again, then you can press the down arrow key again and start speeding up. Then let's see, okay, this is a little bit too fast. I'm going to press the up arrow key, and then I could, keep controlling again. And you can use this over and over to have a really good speed control. The former world record holder Nimputs does this really, really well. He makes it look pretty easy, and again, it is a very beginner friendly. Highly recommended if you're very new to the game. And then the second approach to doing this is, instead of going a regular reverse to do speed control, you do double reverse. So again, instead of using the down arrow key, the exact same process, instead of the down arrow key, you're now using the spacebar. And obviously with double reverse, you're going to go much faster. So let's do that right now. Double reverse. Alright, let's say this is too fast. Press the up arrow key, let go of the spacebar, and you're slowing down. And then if this is a little bit comfortable and you can go back faster, you can press the spacebar. Make sure that the up arrow key is still being held down. And then, alright, this is too fast, I'm going to let go of the space, but keep that up arrow key pressed down, and you can keep maneuvering the way that you feel is most confident to you. This is a more aggressive, this is a bit more speedrun friendly version of doing your speed control. This is the way like a lot of the former world record holders used to do it, is with the spacebar and the up arrow key. So that's the second way. And then let me restart the game really quick to just visualize the third one. This one I only recommend if you can handle going anything over 600 miles an hour with good confidence. And that one you don't need the up arrow key, just the space bar. So if you can handle these really high speeds and just manage it pretty well, but if you really can't handle going, very, very fast, like if you can handle going here, then if you're going too fast, let go, but almost instantly as soon as you let go, press it again to kind of like rebound and gain that speed back. But if you can't handle more than 300 and you have to keep letting go very often, you're essentially just wasting time. So now this strategy becomes very ineffective. So this one I only use with caution, and only if you can actually handle going anything over 300, 400 with very well control. If not, just stick to the more speedrun friendly version of your speed control. That one will help you a lot more in the long run. That took me a long time. My nose was itchy, I'm sorry. Alright, so that's pretty much understanding the basics of Big Rigs with its controls, and it does take a long time to master it. I know in my videos I make it look easy and make it look super nice and clean and smooth or whatever, but if you look at my earlier runs, my first runs when I began speedrunning the game, it was all very choppy. I stopped very frequently, I had to keep adjusting, and that's fine, that's part of the process. If I can do that and get where I'm at right now, so can you. And that's pretty much it for the controls. And in the next part, we'll be talking about menuing. It's going to be a short video, but I feel like it's very important. So that's going to be part 2.